Hi y'all, Agent here, and we're going to do a video. It's of me railing again, surprise, surprise. I know you didn't expect that, but there it is. It's a freaking rail tank, check it out. The reason actually I did this video is because I ran into this LOML platoon. I think it's a 5-man platoon. I'm not sure, it's at least 3 because 3 guys are using the exact same build. But I run into them several times today, and every time, almost all of my team quits. Once it was 3 versus 8 because 5 people left the match. One of them was a really good player too, but he quit, so he's actually not a good player. He's just good at the game. There's a difference. But anyway, I did a video of this third or fourth match I ran into him because my team actually stayed and we kicked their asses. Maybe we didn't kick their asses, but we won the match. And I switched to this rail tank. It's got the rail decimators instead of the erasers. I tried the erasers on the second time I ran into these guys. I had a suspicion I was going to run into them, so I tried erasers, and they were much more penalizing when I missed. And due to how far away these guys like to hang out, and the use of camera controls for strafing, I was really penalized every time I missed a shot. So this match, I said, all right, I'm going to see these guys again. I'm definitely going to see them again. I can't beat them in a copter. I already tried that the first match, and it was horrendous. Of course, now that was the 3v8, but I don't think I could beat 3 or 4 or 5 LOML copters, even with team support being in the air. It's not going to happen. So anyway, the rail erasers failed. I had 5, and I actually did a really good job in that match. I wound up top scorer to my team, and no one else even wanted to fight. Everyone else wanted to surrender and not respawn, but that's beside the point. I found it was very penalizing when I missed, and it was hard to hit their guns from the way they're moving, so I switched over to the rail decimator tank instead. And I've made the case for these before, is that they're much less penalizing when you miss with these, because with a power module you'll get like 9 or 10 shots per energy bar, as opposed to 6 as you get out of the rail erasers. So you can miss a couple and you're not out of energy yet, and it's just as good at degunning until you come into like the large guns. And I think it still takes the same amount of shots in most cases. It's just that there's more leftover damage from the third shot if you're using erasers as opposed to decimators. So I switched over to the decimators. I've got blink for escapes in both of my tanks, and right now what I'm just trying to do is I'm just trying to lay into these guys and deal as much damage as I can to try to get them to back off. In some cases I am trying to shoot off their lock-on missile launchers, but the way they move and where they hang out, it makes it very difficult to actually land those shots. And I can't blame the rails on the other teams I've been with when I was not playing rail for not really being able to effectively deal with these guys, because they hover at like as high as they can get and probably still have enemies render and then be able to land their shots, get a lock, and maintain it. So it's a very difficult task, and I need my team to keep the shield up, because they lock onto me, they turn their attention to me a lot. And I need to be able to bitch out. I need to be able to hit blink and get back into my shield to avoid their locks, to avoid their missiles, and to avoid their plasma fire, because they are a coordinated platoon and they will turn their attention to me several times throughout the match. They've even got a guy that's a moderator in the game. I don't think he's playing with them, but he mentioned something about how lock-on should be laser guided and not lock-on, and I kind of agree with that. But anyway, he manages to kill me, I think, while I'm in my base with no shield. And I do point out in chat at one point that we really need to keep that shield up so I can have a place to retreat to and not have to wait on a respawn counter, so I can keep hammering these guys with rails. Now, I'm not able to shoot their guns off as well as I normally demonstrate. Like I said, it's the distance. Rails are projectiles now, so there is a level of prediction. They move really fast, but they're still projectiles, so you don't always hit what you want to hit. And with strafing targets that are not strafing like exactly perpendicular to you and they're moving backwards or forwards a little bit, it becomes very difficult to actually land those shots exactly where you need them. And I will admit, I'm a little bit, I won't say flustered, but I'm rushed in this match because I know there's 3 of them using the same copter, and they've got a similar copter that has 2 laser leviathans as opposed to the regular lasers and plasma that the other guys are using. So I know, like, I've got an extremely target-rich environment in the air, and I know, and I've seen these guys before, at least I think 3 other matches, at least 2 other matches today, and they may recognize my name and start trying to focus me down. They did it when I was using the rail erasers. They would all focus me down, but that was also a case where most of my team just gave up. They quit respawning. They kept trying to surrender. I kept trying to talk to them and tell them, look guys, it's just lock-on missile launchers. These things are actually weak. If you focus your fire on the enemy one at a time, you're going to knock them out of the sky. You're going to damage them so much that they're going to retreat, and you can immediately turn to the next one. And I know it's difficult, if not impossible, for a team of randoms to coordinate like that, but if somebody just took the lead and everyone else followed, it would be a lot easier to handle that kind of thing. So again, what we're doing here is we're just laying into them with our rail decimators. I don't usually use the decimators like this. I usually use them to precisely pick off guns, but in this case I'm using them more like I would use erasers and just hammering the bots with them and looking for weak spots. These don't really have weak spots. I guess you could consider their blades, as with any copter, as their weakest point is shooting their blades off. And I go for their blades a lot because if we can knock them out of the sky and they land anywhere near an ally, they're going to move in and finish the job. But at least if I knock them out of the sky, they're down for like 10 seconds and they're going to have to heal up and come back, and it gets them out of the sky, gets them off of my teammates, and it lets my teammates go for those towers. And the downside to this platoon that we're fighting against is that they're actually not very effective at taking towers. They seem to rely on a war through like attrition from denying you access to the towers, but our team, the team that I'm a part of here, and this is a team effort. This is not by any means just me. All I'm doing is contributing the best I can to this team. The rest of the team is able to move in and take towers and stay on top of it. We actually get their shield down once, twice, maybe 3 times. We really keep them on their heels as opposed to the other teams I've been with, who immediately just want to throw their hands up in the air and give up and quit trying. And you can see I'm missing a lot of shots too. Like I said, I'm not really flustered, but I'm rushed. I know that I need to stay on top of these guys as much as I possibly can, and every time I run out of energy, I feel like I'm not doing my job, even though I'm doing it the best I can right now. I wish I was landing more shots, but it seems to be working. We do have another LOML copter or ground bot that's able to hang with these guys, and he actually is fighting back with his own lock-on missiles. It is a copter or some kind of flyer. I just saw him up to my right. Excuse me. So that's very helpful. He's probably extremely instrumental in keeping these guys on the defensive instead of just a super heavy offense like I've seen in the last few matches. And this team is pretty formidable to deal with. 1 lock-on alone or 2 uncoordinated, no big deal. And when you've got a team of 3 to 5 of them all using lock-ons, it can be pretty rough. Like I said, the first match I played against these guys, it wound up being 3v8 because everyone else on the team quit. I think I only saw 1 surrender, but they didn't even want to try to surrender. They all just quit the match. But I kept spawning, and I just got whatever damage I could get in, and scored what I could, took my crate, and moved on to the next match. I am going to die here. I said he caught me with the shield down earlier. Our shield was up, but I took a lot of damage before we got it up, and he was able to finish me off. So this is the point where I'm telling the team you really need to keep that shield up. This guy camping here should not be sitting in base like that, especially with a chain gun. He needs to be out there fighting with the rest of them. Even me with rails and my long distance, I spend most of my time outside of the shield. Actually, I sit right in the middle of the map most of the time, towards the middle, not dead center, but close to the middle, close enough to where I can blink right outside of my shield and blink back into my shield if these guys all turn their attention to me at the same time. Because while I can tank one volley of LOMLs, I can't tank 2 or 3 all at once. It's way, way, way too much. So again, like I said, all my tanks, I've said this in another video, all of my tanks and ground bots are equipped with E1. And it's almost a must-have in the meta right now because meta is Mega Plasma, usually on a copter, but also on mechs that can jump really high, throw more, and fly. And Plasma is very powerful from the sky right now. I think it has undone pretty much all of the Armageddon update that we had, because when I'm using Plasma as a copter or a regular flyer, mostly copters, I noticed that once I hit like overclock 4, I'm killing like half a bot with one volley of Plasma if I land all of it. And that's too fast. It's basically a one-hit kill. It happens so fast.
Spotted. Your middle fusion tower is under attack. Spotted. Your team has captured the bottom fusion tower. Flank second booster activated. Your middle fusion tower is under attack. Spotted. Your middle fusion tower is under attack. The middle fusion tower has been captured. You no longer have your clock cycle booster. Spotted. Your bottom fusion tower is under attack.
If you're like a high overclock level, you're far better off doing that, doing a tactical retreat instead of trying to stick it out and fight, die, and have to sit through a long countdown timer if your team can't capture a tower. Now, when I'm playing bots other than Rail, I like to hold a tower. It doesn't always work because your teammates will rush in and take the points for capping a tower, but I'll capture one most of the way, and then if I notice everybody's alive and we don't necessarily need that tower yet, I'll kind of hold on to it and wait until we've got 2 or 3 allies dead, and then I'll give them an instant respawn by finishing it. It's hard to coordinate when you're not playing in a platoon because you have up to 7 other players that all want to go capture that tower. But if you're playing in a platoon of 5 that only leaves a couple 3 players on your team that might capture that tower, when in reality you need to pocket it and hold on to it. It's called pocketing. And I have no idea why this guy decided to jump into my line of fire. When I see fellow railers, I try to stay out of their line of fire because I know every shot counts. But whatever, you know, this guy's going to go down anyway. We're going to get rid of him. We're going to kill him and take him off the map. The reason I blinked back in base a minute ago was to try to get in and take him off the map, especially now that their overclock is high. Their respawn times are going to be really long, so now is the point at which you want to actually start killing them and getting them off the map so your team can move in and finish this. We definitely don't want to get caught in a position where our respawn times are long and we're all starting to respawn piecemeal one by one and get hammered by the enemy. So I moved up as a rail because I know we're about to finish this match. We finished the match. I've seen this platoon dominate several games now, and we beat them. So, you know, just bear in mind, people, you don't need to quit just because a match is hard. Adapt, learn, figure out their weaknesses, and fight back. Don't quit. See you next time.